Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today is near the end of October. I think it's October 22nd or something like that. And I've been busily trying to harvest everything that I can out of my garden because we're going to have a frost tomorrow night, and it's supposed to hit around 27 degrees, which is going to damage just about everything that is left in the garden to harvest. So I've harvested all my tomatoes. I've harvested my ground cherries, both the Peruvian ground cherries and my Miss Molly ground cherries. I also just did a video that I'll link up above of harvesting my ashwagandha, which was really exciting to me. It turned out really, really well. And then I realized as I ended that video that I am standing over the top of another plant that I've been harvesting, and I wanted to show you what it looks like. It's one of the most expensive spices that you can buy, and it's called saffron. Now, saffron is a crocus. It's an autumn crocus, and you harvest the red stamens. And let me show you what I mean by the red stamens. Now, here's one of the saffron flowers that I harvested from yesterday. They're really a gorgeous crocus-like flower, and let me show you what it looks like when they still have the stamens left in them. Now, here's one just opening up, and these are the little stamens. They're very easy to harvest if you are not looking into a camera. You just pull it like that, and that's what your saffron looks like. Let's go show you all the different places I have them in my yard, and then I will show you what it looks like once they're dried. Now, one other thing is when you're harvesting to remember is there's always 3 stamens. Sometimes they're hiding by hanging under the plant. Now, of course, now that I said that, this is one that looks like we may only have 2. This is the first one I found with only 2 stamens. They usually have 3. Here's another one that I missed. It's a little gone by, but the stamens are still okay, and there's 3 of them in there. Two. And there's the third one. Now, I've planted saffron all through the edges of my food forest. We've got some right there that I think I've harvested most of them. There's one left that I need to get. These bunches were all hiding under my ashwagandha, and they seem to do okay. All of the saffron that was planted in my food forest was planted last fall. And I'm starting to wonder how many years this saffron will last. These are in my front yard, and I planted these 3 years ago. And I've only gotten 1 flower out of this grouping so far. We'll see if they produce any more, but I'm wondering if they're a very short-lived plant. Now, this is where I planted my saffron a couple of years ago, and they're actually starting to come up a little bit later. They're more in the shade. Here's what they look like when they're new. You can see the little start back. You can see the little start back here. We have a couple here, and some more starting there. But these seem to have come out a little bit later, but they are flowering. There's not a ton of flowers, but we're getting a few. So I'm excited about that. Now, this is a freshly opened flower, and look how pretty that is. You can see the 3 red stamens hanging down, and we'll harvest those a little bit later. But they're absolutely gorgeous little flowers to have in the fall. Now, saffron is easy to plant and grow. You plant them the same time you plant your normal bulbs, anywhere between September and November. And you do need to order them pretty early because a lot of places sell out of them from what I've noticed. Plant them in an area that gets full sun, but I have shown you a couple of areas where they're getting some shade, and they did just fine. But they really should have full sun, and they like dry conditions over the summer. So right after you plant them, around November or December or so, you're going to start seeing leaves come up the very first year. You won't get flowers that first year, but the leaves will last all winter long, and they're just going to look like crocus leaves, just, you know, kind of a grassy appearance. So it's kind of attractive. It's not gorgeous, but it's kind of attractive. It's green throughout the winter. And then in the summer, they die back and there is nothing there. And then when the flowers come, they come again in October through November. So they're just a really interesting plant to grow. Let me show you how I store the stamens and what they look like when they're dry. So this is how I dry my stamens. You see the new ones, the 5 new ones that I picked today, and those are on top of ones that I picked yesterday. And this is how I dry them. I just put them in my microwave. I just put them on the top of my microwave where they can just sit and dry. And then I store them in a little tiny glass container with a lid on it. Now you do have to have a lot of saffron to be able to make a meal. I think 6 to 12 stamens seems to be the average amount called for in a recipe. And you know, if each saffron gives you 3 stamens, you're going to have to grow quite a bit to be able to have enough to make some good dishes. But it's fun to grow. So definitely try growing saffron crocus. You're going to love it. It's a beautiful plant and it's really fun to use in cooking. Now, I'm not an expert in using saffron in cooking. I've used it with some rice in the past and it was really good. So I'd love to hear how you use it. If you have grown saffron or if you've purchased it and cook with it, leave some of your recipes or some of your information in the comments below. I'd love to hear how to use it. Now, if my videos have been helpful for you, I hope you like, subscribe, share them with your friends, share some comments down below, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.